What's up? Just wanted to get on here real quick and just have a quick little story time and try to bring awareness to you guys about certain situations for you to be on alert. Um when putting your information down on certain paperwork and forms, okay? Because people are taking your information and literally stealing your identity, or taking your information and running with it to where it could put you in harm's way. Okay, first little story time. The first story. I have two to tell you real quick. The first story is when I went to go get a tattoo. They have you fill out this form. They want to know your name, your telephone number, your address, check your ID, make sure you're of the age, 18 and older. So make sure you're of age to get a tattoo. So, I put my little information down, not thinking anything of it. And a week later, Lil Buddy tried to break into my house. Okay? The same tattoo artist that I got my tattoo from tried to break into my house a week later. And how he found my house was from me putting down my address on that form. So that was a blessing in disguise and a huge lesson, because going forward, I will never put my information down on non-important, impertinent paperwork. Okay, because it's none of your business. Like, you going to get a tattoo, all you need to know is I'm 18 and above, I'm legal, I'm of age, I'm grown, and I can get a tattoo. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know nothing else, okay? And so that was a blessing in disguise, because, that taught me a huge lesson. And also, Lil Buddy wasn't able to break in. He got caught trying to break in, okay? So, highly protected. Second story time is I go to transfer my information and my driver's license from one state to another. Now, when you go to the DMV, they have you fill out a paper, a form. And on that form, you have to put down your social security, your date of birth, your address, all of that good stuff. Lo and behold, 3 weeks later, 3 to a month, yes, I'll say 3 weeks to a month later, I have letters coming to my house asking me to pay a balance on a credit card that was opened in my name. And all of a sudden, I'm getting these random offers from credit cards sent to this address. Mind you, I've lived in one location for the past 11, 12 years. So now I'm at this new location. Haven't even been there a good year. I've only been there a couple of months. And now I'm starting to get all this information sent to this address. So I had to call this credit card company and dispute, of course, the charges, and file a fraud claim, because I didn't open up this credit card. And when I sat down and I thought about it, I'm like, the only place that I went to that had my information on a piece of paper, a form, was the DMV. So somebody at that DMV took that form and they did open up a card in my name using my social security, my date of birth, my address, and all of that. And they were able to do it with one card successfully. There was 2 other cards that came to the house asking me, did I try to attempt to open up a card, because it was like suspicious activity. You know what I'm saying? So on one end, we have to be careful with putting all our information online, and with, no, those kids didn't. And with the dark web and everything being online, and hackers and AI and man, I'm getting distracted. The heat too. Okay, let me hurry up with this. On one end, we have to be careful with technology, and then on the other end, we have to be careful with forms. So either way, you have to be careful, because people that work at these businesses aren't always legit. They are scammers hidden in plain sight. Snakes hidden in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? Chaos agents hidden in plain sight. Thieves, lowlives, bums, okay? To where you're working, and now You're unsatisfied with your 9 to 5. You want to make more paper on the side. So you stealing people's information, selling people's information, taking people's information, whatever the case may be, instead of finding you a legit side hustle. Okay. Well, like I said, from the first incident, highly protected, because I got all of that in check and nipped it in the butt. But now it makes me very cautious, which this is why it's a blessing that it happened, because it put me on my P's and Q's on going, very cautious on filling out paperwork and putting down my information. Even when you go to like the dentist and stuff of that nature, they want to know your address and your social, your birthday and all of that. And you're giving it to the receptionist. You don't know what type of time she on, and I don't want to accuse people who are actually in the upright, but you don't know. So everybody has to be looked at as a criminal. Instead of innocent until proven guilty, you're guilty until I think you're innocent. The helly, the fuck? I mean, I like to see kids outside playing, because they don't really do that these days. But these kids, they treacherous. They off the chain. Anyway, I just got done with my little walk, so I'm at the park, and I have the windows up and the car off so you guys can hear me better, but I'm gonna hurry it up because I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting hot. I'm getting irritable. I'm getting distracted. You know what I'm saying? Because the enemy, little negative spirits, don't like me talking about things that people need to be aware of, chaos agents. But anyway, so I just want to bring that to your attention. Be very cautious and stay alert when filling out forms, like when you're going to get tattoos, or really just non-relevant places that really don't need that much information. Even when you're downloading these apps because you want free points or free food or whatever, your little Starbucks app, your Dutchess apps, your these little food apps, be careful. Okay, be really, really careful. I used to be all hip and game for it, but now I'm like, no Target app, no this app, no that app, no, forget these apps. Now, I still got a couple of apps, but, I'm not easily moved with, I go here, so let me download this app, or, forget it, because it ain't worth the hassle of trying to correct something that somebody else did that can harm you, and now you're sitting in a situation dealing with all the hassle behind the scenes, trying to recorrect a problem that you never created in the first place. You get what I'm saying? So, that was just a quick little story time about 2 incidents that happened to me. And they weren't back to back, they were like years apart. But one was at a tattoo shop and one was at a DMV. And so, dealing with identity theft and credit card and just fraud in general is a hassle. So to prevent anything happening to you, just be alert. Just be aware. You know what I mean? Stay on your P's and Q's. Be very mindful. Also, that's another thing real quick. Be very mindful of the conversations that you have too, because when you're going places and you're talking and you're telling people, oh yeah, we're going out of town this weekend, or next weekend I won't be home, or, I work nights, blase, 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 dead it. Just dead it, okay? It's none of their business. They don't need to know unless you truly trust these people. But half the time, it's the people in your face, in your circle, that's doing the harming. And if they're not doing it, it's their friends that's doing it. It's the people that's connected to them that's doing it, okay? Because you've talked too much, you've told too much, you said too much. So just dead it, okay? Dealing with my house being broken into, this is a whole nother situation. That came from a friend, an ex-friend, and her dude, right? So, I mean, come on now. Half the time it's people that's in your circle, or close to the people that's in your circle, associated with the people in your circle. And hell, it might even be the maintenance man. You have somebody coming over, working on your plumbing, working on your air conditioning, and next thing you know, you having conversations. You tell them you stay by yourself, you work nights, da-da-da-da. They in and out your house, checking out your house, scoping out your house. The next thing you know, you at work, working the night shift, and your house getting broken into. Like things of that, just, it happens. And let's just pray and hope that it don't happen to you. But be very mindful. Stay alert. Be aware. Be cautious. And say less to be protected. To stay protected. And if you're a child of God, you will be protected. But let's just help the angels and the ancestors and the spirit guides out. Okay? Let's not make them have to work overtime because we're being careless. So that's all I have to say to you guys. I hope you have a good day. I need to get the AC going. But peace. Till next time.